they do join, she can introduce them.
You got your glasses?
Okay.
I don't think they look
I've
glasses.
got a pair
Coast
for
Guard.
distance, but you. We're gonna mute everyone when we get started, and then whenever if there's a question, because what I'm gonna do, Kathy, is I'll introduce you whenever we get started, and then you can introduce everyone else, because everyone knows Reba, but we don't know Basil and the other person you said who is the vice president of marketing. That way you can introduce them, and if they happen to have any questions, they can ask the four of you. I did not send them the map that you sent because I felt like for tonight's purposes, it really wasn't pertinent. It was kind of just, I wanted to hear what other people had to say since that's the real purpose of the night. I've only got 2 comments. So, one of them's just, yes, we need it. The other one's, I don't know, I don't know if they're in your territory or what, but they do have a comment. I don't know if it's directed towards REA or what, but they're saying that yes, something needs to be done as well.
Okay.
So, and then after the comments, then commissioners can ask questions. And I know a few of them that this is just really to get general information. There's not any specifics, because you still had to look up information to find out if we could even do the full partnership like what we had initially even discussed.
Right.
Good evening. Welcome to our commissioners meeting. This is a special meeting advertised as a public notice for COVID-19, a grant application for $900,000 from the County of Gates. With us, of course, our commissioners and also Reba Holly and Kathy Davis. So welcome.
Thank you.
Start first with conversation about this grant and how it's going to be organized.
Would you like to go into public hearing first, or would you like for me to just explain a very
If you
little?
explain it first, then
Okay.
we'll go to public hearing. Yes, ma'am.
We are having a public hearing for the CDBG grant program for the coronavirus. And this is through the Department of Commerce. The county may apply for up to $900,000, with 10% being used for administrative costs. And the state has identified 3 funding priorities: public service, public facilities, and economic development. Gates County, in partnership with Roanoke Electric Cooperative, would like to submit an application focusing on broadband services and enhancing internet access for the citizens of Gates County. There are some other criteria that the county must meet in order to be eligible for the grant. And a few of those include, go back to that page, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead to something else. It includes the population has to meet certain low to moderate income levels, and it has to meet the criteria whenever that grant application is submitted, must meet a specific level of readiness to proceed, and they are acknowledged by the red in writing as eligible to apply. And we're partnering with Roanoke Electric would help us with the level of readiness if we focus on broadband, since that is an area that Roanoke Electric is currently working on within Gates County. So if you would like, you could proceed to the public hearing. I do have 2 comments that have been sent to me. And then if there are no additional comments, we could close it and then hear from Roanoke Electric on if you have any questions, because this public hearing is basically just the broad highlights. It is not because we have already decided, yes, this is definitely what we're going to do. We've not decided on any areas or anything like that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam County Manager, for giving us a definition. And as we took a look at the grant application and what have you, and listened to what you've given us, Gates County does fit the description for the grant itself. And is that correct, Ms. Davidson?
Yes, it is correct. It is correct.
All right. Any questions, any commissioners before we go to public hearing?
At this time.
I make a motion that we go into public hearing.
Motion on the floor that we go to public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. And all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Hearing none. Go to public hearing.
This first comment is an audio from Erna Bright in Sunbury, who could not be here today. He was out of the county. So I will play his message that he left. Might have to turn it down just a little bit.
We're not gonna hold them to the last mile of providing service. We don't need to be part of it. CenturyLink has done the same thing. If you got money, partners, everybody's done the last mile. Example is right over the Silver Spring Road, that CenturyLink dealing with 512. And it's all Silver Springs. It's gonna be Zion, part of Zion's Road, Forest Swamp Road, and, Gray Road, all back in that area. Any road running electric has power service. It looks like they've taken us off even the long range plan. But if you have any, that's just a concern I have, that they're gonna look out for the last mile customers and not pick the low hanging fruit. You have a question, you can call.
And the other is from Monet Shaw. I'm very new to the area, but definitely want to weigh in on this topic. I'm originally from Wilmington, North Carolina, joined the Navy, got out, stayed in Hampton Roads. Recently in June, I found a property in Gates near 37. Love the area for my family. I have a new high schooler and definitely need reliable internet connections for her not to be left behind. I didn't want to come to a meeting in person because I work in an urgent care as an X-ray tech in Suffolk. I switched from AT&T to Verizon thinking it would get better. It didn't. I got HughesNet to help with the service. It didn't. I can't cancel at the moment because that will cost a fortune. Both services itself is pretty pricey. I don't know how long I will be able to keep all of the services on if they're not working. Thanks for taking my comments.
Could you give us her name again, please?
Monet Shaw, M-O-N-E-T,
And the first gentleman was?
Erna
Erna
Bright.
Bright.
Erna, E-R-N-A B-R-I-G-H-T. And
One was
those are,
from Sunbury, one was from Gates.
and those are the only 2 comments that I have.
All right, and we'll just emphasize it as part of the grant. is public service, public facilities, and economic development.
Correct.
Any comments, concerns, or?
I'll hold my comments until we hear from.
Okay, all right.
You need to come out of
Uh,
public hearing if you're gonna only do comments. I mean,
If we're gonna debate.
Yeah.
right.
I would like to hear from Ms. Davidson and Ms. Holly. Ruby
Our
Green.
Commissioner Hoffa would like to hear from Ms. Davidson and also Ms. Holly.
With that,
Welcome again, ladies.
Thank you. Just to let you know, I'm Kathy Davison. I'm the Vice President of Finance and Accounting at Roanoke Electric and work with Reba Green Holly and Resource Development and Grant Development for our broadband project, as well as economic development within our service territory of 5 counties, which of course includes Gates County. We're willing to assist Gates County with the deployment of broadband. As you know, we already have broadband in motion, multiple projects, including the first phase of Great Grant funding that was released in 2018 and 19 fiscal year that we will be deploying and constructing fiber to the premise broadband within a portion of Gates County. And then we're utilizing, in order to identify the areas that have the most need within Gates County, we've utilized crowd fiber campaign where the residents and businesses within Gates County can go ahead and put in their address. They could do a speed test and allow us to identify their needs for broadband service. To let you know, I'll reiterate, the majority of our project is fiber to the premise, which is a different technology than what we were originally going to utilize. Initially, our project was a 100% fixed wireless system. And as technology has changed and upgraded, we've decided to invest further in the fiber to the premise technology. And what does that mean to the residents and businesses of Gates County? It means a more reliable service. A good example is, you'll see, of course, you're in the Hampton Roads market for television, and you'll see the Cox Communication advertisements of 1 gig of speed or 1 gigabyte. And we'll be able to offer that one gigabyte up, meaning that you can upload 1 gigabyte and you can also download. Multiple technology or devices being utilized in the home. And we will also be able to work with the residents within Gates County for a reduced rate based on the FTC lifelong program that is being refunded again this year. And we're excited about the opportunity to provide service to Gates County, along with the other federal and state grant applications, not only that we've received funding for, but that we have funding applications in for funding.
Very well. Any questions? Commissioner Hoffa?
Yeah, I do. This will be available to all the citizens of the county, not just REA people that are currently just on Roanoke Electric.
That is correct. One of the things that we've changed over the last 6 months and looking at our project is, because there is such a need and there are areas that are not Roanoke Electric, but we're close enough to them that we're going ahead and adding those areas into our project. They will actually be funded not through our REC or Roanoke Electric Membership Corporation, but they will be funded through Roanoke Connect Holdings, which is our broadband company.
And this grant funding cannot supplant any other grant funding. it has to reach areas that they're not currently going to reach.
And you said this is not based on fiber optics in the ground, but you're going to do it through the air?
It really depends on where it's run. There are two criteria that it's called an aerial line or an underground line. If it's like through the swamp area, it's going to be run overhead because it's too expensive to do a directional bore for underground. But also looking at if it's an area that's more clustered with residents, that might be an ideal area to do underground. It really depends on what the engineer, how he designs it and what the environmental impact is.
And if I may, Kathy had shared a cost with me right now. Can I share that cost, Kathy?
Yes, please.
Okay. She said right now it is $30,000 a mile to lay fiber. So what we had initially discussed, and I told her I knew it was going away from what they are currently doing, but if you were trying to deploy something a little bit faster, in the past, when they first started this, REA, and I couldn't remember if it was Marshall Cherry or Curtis Wynn, they came and they spoke with me, and they had asked if there was place on our water towers that they could perhaps place antenna to help expand the network. So I told Kathy that could be something as a short-term quick fix, maybe to help us get started if fiber, was not going to be able to be funded through this. And then Lisa Cherry reminded me that one of the cell towers in Hobbsville has dedicated space to the county. So those coordinates have been provided to REA so that they can also check those coordinates to see if they are in the REA areas close to where they have fiber or close to their service areas. So there's different options that we can begin considering as we move forward.
I know Chowan County, the other night I was at a meeting, Chowan County is using their water towers because of the way they're geographically dispersed throughout the county, and they were going to put a ring on each of the towers and to have it, broadcast from the towers to the home areas. But then there is a part where you had to have the fiber, something to that last one. But a lot of it was going to go through the air.
Right, because they already had spoke to Kevin Howard, their county manager, and they already have Netgear, and there was another provider that's already providing those services in the county. So it's kind of amplifying the services they're already providing.
I was curious if we would get into a situation where the population per mile would dictate, how it would advance. Would we get into any kind of situation where an area there's not much population wouldn't be reached at all?
One of the things is because of the increase in or the changes in the technology, we may not run fiber if it's an outlying area, but as County Manager Roundtree mentioned, that having the fixed wireless or the antenna, it might be that we use a white space or an additional fixed wireless type of network to reach those outlying areas.
Once you all start discussing the areas, we have mapping program that can actually show you where it would be run based on where you want it to be run and what it's connecting with. So you'll be able to actually physically see how the internet will be deployed based on the parameters you all give Roanoke Electric as to where you want it. And we can also show where we already are and where the various grants that we have in place or waiting to hear from, that territory that has been earmarked for those grants.
And those are the maps that were previously provided, a snapshot. And then of course, Manager Roundtree shared the water towers as well as the cell tower or water tanks and cell tower, and we'll go ahead and add those on the map to see where they lie.
Well, with the implementation of any project like this, it's going to be way over our heads somewhat.
Mhm.
Will it be situation where the commissioners are made aware of what's taking place, or how much involvement will we have? What type of questions might you be asking of us down the road?
The primary questions that we would ask you is to work with us to pick the priorities. Of course, when you look at a little less than $900,000 for a project, there's limited funds available when a project is $30,000 to $40,000 a mile. And so we will need you to work with us to identify which will be the next public hearing approving the project areas for the grant application. And that is truly on the county for you to identify those. And because we already have an engineer on staff and a construction company, that we will be able to move forward with the design fairly quickly once your application is submitted and approved.
Would you recommend us taking a phase approach to it? Maybe when we're talking about those priorities, we look at what we might call critical areas of the county, but address it with an idea that, hey, there's going to be another bank of money in 2.5 years or something like that?
I would look at a phase priority list that with this bucket of money, we will work on this area. So that's priority number one, and use the fund based on what your priorities are. And once the money's out, then you keep looking for additional money, which is exactly what Roanoke Electric is doing with our multiple grant applications. In fact, we've been working on, I think, Reba, this is the 10th application that we're working on as it relates to broadband. We've received 5 out of those 10 for great grant applications, phase 1. And then we've just received notice that we received phase 2 of the great grant application as well.
Also, when you're looking for money, some of the grants don't come right out and say, this is for broadband. When you're looking, and if the county is qualified to apply, you need to be a little creative in thinking about what that grant is asking for. If they're asking for workforce development and broadband is seen as a part of that grant to help with workforce development, then you can apply putting in there that you want to help build out broadband to help with workforce development. So when you go forward looking for funds, keep an open mind and think creatively about broadband can be a part of this grant. We just have to apply for it from a workforce development point of view versus just straight out funds for just doing broadband.
Good thinking. Good point.
Okay, your project that you had originally done here in the county or still in the process of doing, isn't that in your area?
I believe that's a portion of it. There's in the first great grant application, there were multiple areas within Gates County. I would have to pull up the GIS map to illustrate exactly where those are, but I believe was one of those areas.
What was the beginning? What's the age of that project? When did that begin?
The Great Grant project started last summer. The construction has not started. The design has started, and all of what they call make ready, meaning poles that have needed to be changed out, lines, fiber that, or not fiber, but electric lines that needed to be raised because there's a standard of 16 feet for telecommunications. So all of that work is being done in preparation to install, in preparation for installing the fiber.
So technology, fresh technology hasn't outpaced it yet.
No.
Okay, that's
No.
good, you know, 'cause it changes so fast.
Yes, and one of the nice things about doing fiber to the premise, and we are upsizing the fiber because we see COVID-19 was a fine example, is that more people were working at home, going to school from home. So we've noticed a greater need, and the fiber technology, the fiber itself is the same fiber that was used 10 years ago. The number of strands have increased, but what it is the routers and the delivery points have upgraded. And with the change in the technology that we're utilizing now, it's the life of that is 7 to 10 years.
And so far, the people who have received the Roanoke Electric fiber for internet have been very pleased with the service.
Do I recall reading also that Bertie County has been awarded a grant?
Yes, Bertie County, Hertford County, Gates County, and then Northampton County.
There may be some more questions, but I'm wondering, where do we go from here? Next step?
The next step is we will have our GIS staff add the 3 data points onto the map and send that back over to Manager Roundtree. And then the commissioners need to start looking at the priority areas that are not already funded through our grants. And that's all designated. We have those additional layers on the map. One of the things that we've added to the map, because community facilities is a criteria of the CDBG funds, that all of those have been identified. Our staff have went out and identified all of those, and they are on the maps, from the schools to the churches to the volunteer fire departments, government facilities.
Well, we appreciate what Roanoke Electric does in the county and in the community. And I know that that you folks get the word out, you know, through Front Porch Magazine and the newspaper and things like that. Would we, and of course, we want our people to know that we're embracing it, supporting it, and that we're involved in it. Would you like for us to lean toward you for all the publication and all of that, or would that be a joint thing that we would do?
We could do a joint publication for publicity and press releases. We do have a communication team, and I had a note from our Vice President of Communications that she apologizes she had a conflict for this evening, but we do have a communication staff that will be of assistance to put together the information, the press releases, the social media. It's exciting that we can partner with Gates County, and if Gates County wants to approve that partnership.
Because the county is still responsible for all the fiscal oversight.
Okay. Yeah, I think we, you know, I see some nodding heads. I think that would be great if we did that jointly.
Good, thank you.
Mhm.
Also, if you would promote people going to the website to complete the crowd fiber information, it helps with the demand for the service when we're looking at where we're trying to go with the fiber, because many of the grants want you to show that the public wants it. So that's what we use.
And that, Reba's at
Ron,
3 minutes.
RoanokeElectric.com, and then you go to Roanoke Connect, And where it says sign up, you sign up and it'll ask whether you're a resident or whether you're a Roanoke Electric member or not once you get in there. And that's just to help them see who's asking for it. And it takes about 5 seconds to complete.
And if we completed that before, can we complete it again? Can we fill it out again?
You can,
Yes.
yes, you can. And we stress that even non-member owners of that are residents of Gates County, go ahead and fill it out because we are expanding that base to non-member owners. Our focus is primarily first to member owners, but as I mentioned, if we have fiber that's close and that's not a member owner, we're going to provide service for them or work to provide service for them.
Reba, that information you gave us, I didn't have my pen ready. If you could send that to Melissa Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good.
A good example of what Kathy was saying is my house is on the end of the line for Roanoke Electric from Rooks Road. But when it comes to my house, everybody on Sarum Road will be able to get broadband.
I think we're all very familiar with the fact that you've been working on this for several years with Roanoke Electric. So,
Yes.
so we know that you're more knowledgeable certainly than I am, and I won't speak for the rest of them. I don't know how knowledgeable everyone else is, but you've been on top of this for several years. So we thank you for pursuing it.
Thank you all for pursuing this grant.
It came to our attention, and we certainly did not want to miss out on this opportunity. So, and we heard that Bertie County was maybe in front of us. With that, am I correct with that?
They've received one of the great grant applications, very similar to Gates County.
Well, I'm sure there's more information to come, and the information that we've got tonight has been good. I think it's a good start. Mr. Chairman, I don't have any more questions right now.
I don't
myself.
have any.
No, the question is very clear, and I thank our county manager for bringing us all together. And thank you for the opportunity for having us to be able to apply for this, and also for the leadership and guidance you're gonna give us through this program.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't know if we have anything else with this. Is that one, have a motion to come, we have a public hearing?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I will make that motion that we come out of public hearing.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second for us to come out of public hearing. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, like sign? Hearing none, we now stand out of public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe. Thank you. Any comments or concerns?
No concerns, and I just want to get it done.
I wish it was already done.
Amen.
But I do think it's important that as soon as we can get something out to the public, so they know that it's it's not dreaming anymore, that we actually are moving forward with the plans for this grant, so that they know that we're taking it seriously. That's one of the themes I keep hearing of broadband, especially with COVID and all this Zooming going on.
And right now would be a positive.
It would.
It would be a positive because all
Also,
the
there's
kids are
money
home.
available for it. There's money available for it now.
Yes, yeah, we could only dream about it until the money came back.
Not for $30,000 a mile.
Now,
Yeah,
Can't do it.
and see, even though there's areas designated, they really are not on the broadband yet.
right. So they've just mapped it out, it sounds like.
Right.
Or they've got a blueprint
Yeah.
for it.
And they have their own construction company, so that'll be good.
It's a win-win situation. They're doing the heavy lifting. We're partnering. But I did hear her say that we still have to look for other grants.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
it's not going to
important.
cover
it's important while we're doing this and bringing this to fruition that we're actively seeking other grants, so we're gonna need some more grants. That's what I hear.
Yeah, $30,000.
And Reva's comment,
Thank you. And that's what I heard as well. So we need it consistently,
Mhm.
be aggressive and looking for other grants and stay on top.
and Reva's comment was that the grant opportunity may not say
Right.
fiber.
Yeah, you had to link it in.
But you could link it in and maybe just use a portion of it or use the majority of it, whatever.
It sounds like those key words are public service, economic development.
It is.
Now, if it's workforce development, lots of times there are jobs
Yeah,
that must be created that
Right,
must be
yeah.
linked to it.
Yeah.
So
So
that
you
would
gotta
be,
create jobs.
right,
But we can look at public facilities and public service especially.
right.
But you got
Public
to-
services,
you
yeah.
have to build it out. Many grants do not say exactly what you want it to say, but you have to build it out. And what you're doing is just building the case. I need this for this.
I was thinking this, but it was too early in the game to even say it, but if we found, if we use up this pot of money and then a short period later or any period after that, it would be smart if we kept a relationship with that construction company
And
to say,
design
hey,
it.
yeah, we think we'd like to use you again when another source comes up. So it'd be good to keep in
And
touch.
I wonder, we have services from 2 electrical companies in this county, Dominion, North Carolina, and Roanoke Electric. I wonder, is our arm of Dominion that is getting involved in fiber?
I've not seen or heard anything.
Me either.
That would be something that we would, if there's something available, we still.
I mean, I'm not saying, and
You would think they would.
I would think because most of them have, like, she had said, like Roanoke Connect, it was a division of their stuff. I would think that Dominion would have some type of public
Yeah,
service,
some PR arm,
Yeah.
at least.
a PR.
We would certainly need to honor a conversation with them before we even reached out.
Yeah, but I
to
mean,
a
we could just look to
competitor.
see if they have an arm, just because, like, the major roads mostly are covered by Dominion.
The first thing, two things that come to my mind about a second or third pot of money is the Gates Foundation and Goodnight in Raleigh. He's the owner of SAS.
Mhm.
They're a technology company, they're a communications company. So see, this would be right down their alley to say, wow, we can do something there.
The
Technology.
Gates is generally in medical.
Mhm.
I mean, they kind of.
However, they donated computers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do computers, but we can always try. Only thing they can say is no.
Or yes.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah, I got you. Nothing to lose.
nothing to lose, nothing to lose.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
Well, anything else?
Then we have 2020 elections.
Yes, the next thing was 2020 elections discussion.
Just to make us aware of this, today, I've been in some discussion about that, we were talking about the agriculture building as an alternate site. Today, we've been moving towards Gatesville School in the gymnasium. It seems like that's a better place, and I believe there's been a conversation with the superintendent of schools.
No, sir.
Mr. Williams.
The director of elections has not spoken with him. She left him a message today. She did not hear back from him. And I spoke with her about 5:30 today. She had not heard back
What
from him.
is the movement towards it still?
She was asking if that building was available, and if so, could they use it? But he had not contacted her back.
I understand that, but I mean, that seems to be a more viable place, correct?
I don't know. That was all that I was told this afternoon.
Because as my conversation with the Board of Elections is that being an open area easier to clean, easier to move people through.
And it's flat.
Including those that might be in the flat's big deal, yeah.
But yeah, it's flat, it's no steps.
It's flat, also school's not open, plenty of parking.
I get ready to say parking. When I
Yeah,
was
parking
thinking about-
available.
when I looked across the street, I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Especially if it's a court day.
Yeah, so I'm, with the permission of my fellow commissioners, I will also reach out to Superintendent Williams and, let him know our concerns and where we want to move forward with this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because with deadlines coming up.
Absolutely.
Well, they've been easy to work with and they've responded quickly.
And he might be out of town today, you know,
He was not in from what I understand, he was not in today.
because you know, he's here and there.
I would, I like the sound of you reaching out to him though.
Thank you, Commissioner. I too will reach out and know that they have reached out, but I don't know anybody from the county. No one's from the county's called me.
Like, not me, because I knew nothing about that until 5:30 when I spoke with her.
And I don't have a cell phone number, but Mr.
I think I have.
Mr. Felton, I'm sure has it.
Absolutely. And they work very closely. I mean, that board relations is great. And they work close together. Anything else, as pertaining to the elections? Any concerns or what have you?
On the corner.
All right, we move into, closed session is under North Carolina General Statute 143.318.11A, 6 personnel. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, go into closed session. We will stand in closed session.
Do we need to close that door?
We're gonna stay here or go to?
Well, why don't we just stay here? I mean, nobody,
Go back in here.
and we can hear somebody, nobody can come in